Hi, my name's Powell. I'm the bass player for Endorsing and I'm endorsing artist for Yamaha Music Products Australia. Look, I've played a range of basses over many years of playing, but it's really interesting. The times have been peppered with different Yamaha basses. I've kind of always come back to a Yamaha bass at some point. We all start out on really basic instruments, and my first step up from a basic instrument was a Yamaha guitar. I think it was an RBX 760, I think it was. 5-string bass, active, not the sort of thing I play at all anymore. Moved on to different things, obviously wanted to play other brands, try other things, but then again, my first, what I would call serious instrument was Yamaha again. It was a BB, 1500A, I'm pretty sure it was called, 1500A. It was basically an active jazz bass, and for the money it was amazing. Compared to, you know, the pricing on, you know, an American Fender Deluxe, which is essentially what this bass was. It was a really good deal, and that's probably one of the biggest regrets I have in terms of instruments is selling that BB. It was a great bass, served me well for a long time, and even when I was playing things like American-made Music Man at the time, as well as other instruments, just kept coming back to that Yamaha. I'm a real gearhead. Probably in the last 15 years I've tried and owned 30, 40 different basses easily. And I've always looked to the future, you know, what a company's coming out with, regardless whether I'm going to actually play their products. But I don't think I've ever described myself as being excited about a new product until I started seeing these YouTube videos from Yamaha about the rejuvenation of the BB line of basses. And what was exciting to me was that you had a lot of input from great artists, and not necessarily band players. They were session guys like Lee Sklar, Nathan East, and James Lomenzo, and even, you know, Marco Mendoza, a very eclectic player who's played all sorts of types of music. And I thought, this is interesting. You know, I was a little bit cynical given the profile of these people, but really interesting that the company had decided to go back to its roots and look at, why did the BB take off in the early 80s and the late 70s? Why did they get Paul McCartney wanting to play that instrument when he had the choice of anything? And I started watching these videos. They must have been late 2009, I think, when I saw these videos on YouTube. And it just blew me away in terms of really focusing on fundamental things. What makes a bass great? Build integrity, simplicity, something that just works and feels good in your hand. And it's interesting, I auditioned with my trusty J bass, and as soon as I got in the room with the whole band, it didn't work. I thought, I need something a bit gutsy here, and I had a lot of doubts. I thought, gee, do I need to go back to active basses? This music's so thick and heavy, I really need a solid fundamental. But I'm just not that player. I like traditional instruments, but the J bass wasn't doing it anymore. So I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to bring the Yamaha next time. And they got some interesting looks when I first came into rehearsal. Yamaha, isn't that, you know, a beginner instrument? It was hard to justify, you know, that the new BBs are different, blah blah blah, alright, to people who don't play them. But when they heard it, they went, okay, we get it now. You know, really big, rich sound with a bit of dirt, bit of drive. It sounds just incredible. It's so aggressive, and the output is so much higher than a standard passive bass. And the sustain, because of the unique design of the bridge system, really makes a difference. And just feature packed. You know, as I said earlier, for the price point, you're just getting amazing features that aren't found in basses of a similar range. So within the mix with Endorsing, my debut gig with them, I bought a second one. And because I just knew it was the right sound for the band, and it worked brilliantly. It was really rich and full and thick at that first gig, and I thought, this is it. So I really fell in love with these BB basses prior to being an endorsing artist. It really had nothing to do with it. I owned two, was thinking about purchasing a third so I'd have all my various tunings for an Arian ready to go. And then lo and behold, a little way down the track, you know, I ended up being an endorsing artist for the company. And, you know, certainly not looking back, it's been a really good decision. Very supportive company, keen to bolster young artists, independent bands. So I play the BB 1024X, which is, you know, is an Indonesian line. It's not their custom shop model. Custom shop models have big price tags, and I'm a working musician and I play a working man's bass. This is something everyone can afford. They were designed at Yash, which is Yamaha Artist Service Hollywood, where they kind of do custom shop stuff for their big time artists. These pickups are incredible. So they work closely with the people I mentioned earlier, including Nathan East, and tried different pickups. How would that work? How would they respond to different players and different styles? And this precision pickup at the front here is just incredible. High output, really great with a bit of drive if you're that type of player, but also, you know, you've got those Motown lows if you want them, or that really focused modern sound. It's, you know, it's P-bass on steroids, it really is. Many people mistake this when I play it live for an active bass, because it just has that extra push that you would expect from a bass with a preamp or active pickups. What else have we got? We've got a quarter sawn neck, all right, which is a feature that you're gonna pay big dollars for it with some companies, all right? So you've got to consider that too. It's reinforced with these, in the Indonesian line, they're NATO strips. I believe in the custom shop one, they're mahogany. I've got a custom shop model. I really don't see the difference between the mahogany and the NATO. I'm sure there are experts out there who would argue differently in terms of expert lutherers, but really it's essentially the same product. They're all quarter sawn necks. The build, which obviously I can't demonstrate given the instrument is in one piece and painted, but the reason for the sustain is not just the bridge system, which I'll explain later, but we've got one solid piece of timber here and biscuits on either side to attach the wings. All right, so you've got this solid piece, so it's all this resonance just comes down in one direction. All right, really big difference compared to your typical slab precision bass, in my opinion. So the bridge system, apparently, I don't know whether this is true, I'm sure Yamaha could tell me either way, but apparently the designer was tailing a Mustang and thought, that looks really cool, why don't we do that with our basses? And you can see it does have that kind of car exhaust look to it. What they've done is, rather than a string through body that goes on a right angle and puts ridiculous pressure on the strings, now I can't explain the physics here, but to my ears it does make a difference. Okay, it's on an angle, and even the saddles are angled so the strings have a nice gentle incline rather than this hard right angle when they meet the saddles. Makes a big difference. The sustain is the first thing I noticed when I plugged this bass in. The first one I got from America, which is not this one. This is a new one. That's the first thing I noticed compared to my other passive basses. When I struck, you know, a big low C chord in drop tuning, the note just went on forever. Controls are really simple. You got your volume tone like any precision bass, which affects both pickups. Then you've got pickup selector, so if you want your straight P sound, you go there. No hum, nothing, really beautiful, clean. Obviously you're gonna get single coil hum from the rear bridge pickup, jazz style pickup, or you can go old Jarko style with just having that bridge pickup on, get beautiful harmonics. But I tend to play with them both on in the middle. I'm a really simple player. Tone, volume up all the way, a la Steve Harris. All right, and yeah, I get a bit of treble, but it's really focused. It's kind of a nice blend between modern and traditional bass. That's why I love it so much.